So good morning students. So I am continuing with shares and dividend from R.S. Agarwal textbook. So in that there are last section there are 10 questions. I am going to do important questions. Only 3 I will do because the rest of the problems are similar type. So let me go from this question. Question number 10. Question number 8. Test by yourself or revision test. A man buys rupees 40 shares of a company which pays 10% dividend. A man buys how many shares? A man buys rupees 40 shares of a company which pays 10% dividend. He buys the shares at such a price that the profit is 10% on his investment. At what price did he buy each share? At what price did he buy each share? That means market value is asking. A man buys how many shares? How many shares? A man buys rupees 40 shares. Question number 8. Face value is nothing but rupees 40. Dividend is 10%. Dividend is 10%. He buys the shares at such a price that his profit is 16% on his investment. So rate percentage is equal to 16 on his investment. On his investment. At what price did he buy each share? What price? At what price did he buy each share? Is already given face value, dividend 10%, rate is equal to 6. Rate percentage 16 on his investment. That means he is asking market value is how much. Once again, a man buys rupees 40 shares. 40 shares means face value is rupees 40 per share of a company which pays 10% dividend. Dividend is paying 10% by the company. He buys the shares. Now he is purchasing the shares at such a price that is profit. He should get the profit of 16% on his investment. At what price did he buy each share? At what price did he buy each share means market value. So I told you first write down all the given conditions, then come back to the problem. Now from this go for basics. What is the meaning of this? Dividend is equal to 10%. Dividend is equal to 10 by 100 into face value is 40. So 400 by 100, that is 4, right? So 2 zeros, that is 4. It is dividend is 4. Now what is rate percent formula? Rate is equal to dividend by market value into 100. Rate percentage is given as 16. No? 16 is equal to dividend. Dividend is per share. This is per share. D is equal to rupees 4 per share. This is by market value into 100. Right? So market value is equal to 4 by 16 into 100. 4 ones are 4 4 is 16. 4 ones are 4. Market value is rupees 25. That's it. Very simple. So here once again I will explain. Face value is 40 given. So dividend is 10% given. So that means 10 by 100 into 40. So 400 by 10 is 4. That is dividend is 4 per share. Next, rate percentage given as what is given? 10% given. So rate profit percentage 16% is given. Apply this formula on his investment. That means market price, market value, dividend by market value in 100. 16 given. So already we calculate dividend 4. So 4 by 16 into 100. So this we calculate here, bring it here. 4 4s are 16 and 4 1s are 425. Market value is 25. Right. There is the solution. Next one. Question number 2. These are different type from R.S. Agarwal textbook. Find the percentage interest on capital invested in 18% shares when rupees 10 share cost rupees 12. Again, this is also simple question. Find the percentage interest on capital invested in rupees 18% share when rupees 10 share cost rupees 12. Percentage interest he is asking, rate percentage is asking. First one is rate percent is asking, and this is obviously 18% shares when rupees 10 cost rupees 12. Dividend is equal to 18%, face value is 10, market value is rupees 12. This is question number 12. Question number 2, test by yourself or something, revision test like that. Out of these 10 questions I am doing, just now I did 10th one, now 8th one, now I am doing second problem. So dividend is 18%, face value is 10, market value is 12. What is asking? Percentage interest on the capital. Percentage interest means rate percentage is equal to dividend by market value into 100. Do you know the dividend here? Market value already you know. Dividend you don't know. Calculate dividend here. So dividend is equal to 18%. What is the meaning of this? Go for basics. 18 by 100 into face value is 10. 10 ones are 10. So D is equal to 1.8. This is per share. This is also per share. Now go for this. Don't write here face value because already he is asking percentage interest on capital. Capital means whatever the amount he is keeping in the firm or keeping in the company, based on that he will get the rate percentage interest, right? So rate percentage is equal to dividend. What is the dividend? 1.8 by market value. Market value is 12 into 100. So rate is equal to 180 by 12. So that is nothing but 15%. 15 to the 180. So this is somewhat different question. And the next question is question number 6. So since we are in the end of session, already I have written shares and dividend final session. So that's why I am explaining little bit fast and I am writing steps directly. So there is nothing confusion. Question number 6. A man has some shares rupees 100 par value. A man has some shares rupees 100 par value paying 6% dividend. So a man has some shares, he is saying. We don't know how many shares. Let the number of shares be X. Let the number of shares is equal to rupees X. So a man has some shares rupees 100 par value paying 6%. He sells half of the shares at a discount of 10%. Up until here, let me make you clear what is given and what we should do. A man has some shares, so let the number of shares be X. Face value is equal to rupees 100. Here he used the word par value. Par value means market value is equal to face value. Market value is also rupees 100 since par value given. Since par value is equal to market value, right? So next, dividend is 6%. Dividend is 6%, right? So from this, calculate the dividend. Dividend is equal to 6 by 100 into face value 100 into number of shares. Number of shares are how many? X. 6x. So already I told you we are in the end of session. Please refer to my revision shares and dividend of all the previous classes. Then only you can understand these problems what I am teaching. Otherwise you cannot understand because this is the last session of the class. Next, he sells half of these shares at a discount of 10%. Now, he sells half of these shares at a discount of half of these shares. He sells half of these shares at a discount of 10%. Half of the shares means how much? Half of shares is equal to how many shares are there? X. Half of shares means X by 2, right? He sells half of the shares at a discount of 10%. Discount is equal to 10%. So discount is equal to 10% means market value is less than the face value. So market value is equal to 100 minus 10 by 100 into face value is 100. So 100 minus 10, that is 90. So market value is 90 now. Face value is number of shares are x by 2, right? Next, here dividend is equal to 6 rupees given now, rupees 6x. So half of the dividend is nothing but, because he used the word he sells half of these shares at a discount of 10%. So that's why he sells half of the shares is clearly written x by 2, and then discount 10% means up until here market value, actually you can write directly market value is 90. Since he used the word he sells half of this at a discount. So here this dividend is rupees 6x is nothing but for full shares, half of the shares dividend. This is dividend is equal to rupees 6x for x shares, for x shares. So therefore dividend on half shares is nothing but 6x by 2, that is 3x. So why we have to use this one is, here number of shares is x, so this dividend is for x shares. Now dividend on half shares is 3x. So dividend on half shares is 3x. Now he sells half of this. So the leave up until here. So dividend on half shares is 3x, right? So half of the shares means again half plus half is what? Complete share, right? Are you following what I am saying? Dividend is 6x is for x share. X shares means complete x shares. Dividend on half of shares is 3x by 2. This is case 1. Now case 2 is this one. Half of the shares market value is saying some dividend, and invest the proceed, and again he is using the word invest the proceeds. Invest the proceeds means selling price. Selling price, that is nothing but new investment for him. So new investment is equal to, what is that? Invest the proceed means, what is the meaning of invest the proceed is equal to, you can write invest the proceed is equal to number of shares into market value. Number of shares are how many? X by 2 into market value is how much? 90. 45. Rupees 45x. Right? So this is the new investment. Are you following? Invest the proceed means what is the formula I told? Number of shares into market value. So number of shares into market value, that is market value is now 90. So x by 2 into 40 is rupees 45. This is the investment. So already we have written case 2, half of the shares is x by 2, now market value is 90 and new investment is this one. And invest the proceeds in 7%, 50 shares at a premium 10. Invest the proceeds in 7%. So D is equal to 7% dividend, and face value is how much? 50. Premium, he used the word premium. So market value is nothing but 50 plus 10. Since premium you write down, market value is 60. From these conditions, what can you say? Investment is 45, dividend is 7%, face value is 10, market value is 60. From this calculate the dividend. So from this dividend is equal to, what's the dividend? Dividend is nothing but 7 by 100 into face value is 50 into number of shares. Number of shares is nothing but total investment. Total investment is nothing but, I told no, total investment 45x by market value. Market value is 60. Please remember, number of shares, this one, dividend D2 or dividend D1 is this one. Second case dividend D2 is nothing but investment, we know Dividend we know, face value we know, market value, since we use the word premium, so that's why premium means market value is more than the face value. Already face value is 50, so premium 10 means market value is 60. So 51 are 52 are 15 3 are 15 4 are 7 3 are 21x by 8. 21x by 8. So 21x by 8 is the answer. 21x by 8. So what is the answer? 21x by 8. From this, again, what is here? That this transaction decreases his income from dividend rupees 120. So this transaction decreases his income means there is a difference, no, between D1 and D2. That difference is giving it as 120. So here dividend on half of the shares is 3x. So next part is continuation of case 2. He sells half of the shares at a discount and invests the proceed means like this. So whatever we have done, this is case 2. Invest the proceed means half of the shares x by 2. Discount they use 10%. So from this market value is 90. Invest the proceed means number of shares into market value. Number of shares are how much? Number of shares are x by 2 into market value is 90, that is 45. So that becomes the investment. That becomes the investment. Actually it is nothing but selling price. In other words, it is selling price. So therefore, you applied the formula, I got the answer like this. 21x by 8. So differences D1 minus D2. So D1 is dividend on half of the shares is 3x minus 21x by 8. So that is given as 120. 24x minus 21x by 8 is equal to 120. 24 minus 21 is 3x by 8 is equal to 120. 8 4s are 32. So simple calculations I am doing here. 8 3s are 24. 24 minus 21 is 23. 3x by 8. So cancel it. 3 1s are 3 4s are 8 4s are 32. So 320 is the what is given? The number of shares before transaction. Let the number of shares we have assumed, no, the number of shares before the transaction is 320 shares. The number of shares he sold. He sells half of the shares. He is given, no, number of shares he sold. He sells half of these shares. So second bit is number of shares he sold. So first bit is 320, second bit is 360 by 2. 180. 18 to the 36. 180 shares. He sold 180 shares. Actually original number of shares are 320. He sold half of the shares means 180. Third one, his initial income from the shares. Initial income from the shares means starting whatever the initial income. Starting income. Therefore, initial income is nothing but 6x. 6 into what is the number of shares? 320. 6 2s are 12. 320 into 6. 0 6 2s are 12. 6 3 18 19 20. His income, what is the third bit? His annual income from the shares. His initial annual income from the shares. So first bit is clear. Number of shares before the transaction. Before the transaction is 320. The number of shares he sold. He sells half of the shares. So 320 by what is given? 320, half of the shares of 320 is 160. So first bit is 320, second bit is 160. Next third one is initial income from the shares. So this one, initial income, because dividend on half of the shares you have to calculate. Therefore initial income is equal to 3 into x. 3 into x is 320. 960. Just 1 minute. Is D1 is equal to, initial income is D1 is 6x, no? This is, don't consider this one. Dividend on half of the shares is this one. Dividend on complete shares, original initial income is equal to rupees 6x. So 6 into, what is the answer? We got 320. 0, 6 2s are 12, 6 3s are 18, 19. 1920. So his original income is nothing but this one on complete shares. 320 shares are there. Don't take this as dividend on half of, this is dividend on half of the shares. Dividend on complete shares is 1920. So these are the three different kinds of problems which are of totally different. So that's why I chose those three problems. Remaining, the rest of the problems are all similar type. Please try to do by yourself. In this problem, only one thing is clear. Invest the proceed already I told number of shares into market value. Please remember this. So this becomes the investment for the next case. So investment is this one, dividend, and again write down all the conditions. So half of the shares is nothing but x by 2, discount 10% given, so market value 90. So premium, again in case 2 they use the word premium, so I added. So apply this formula, you will get, and difference between these two, because this is half of the shares, so you have to consider dividend on half of the shares. Half plus half is complete shares, no? So that's why you have to take half of the shares. Please make a note of it. This is very, very important. Dividend on half of the shares. Half of the shares plus here also he sold half of the shares. Half plus half becomes one complete part. So that's why we have to take the difference of these two, not the difference of original one. Original one is based on complete shares. So first bit clearly he is mentioning that the number of shares before the transaction, that means complete share is 320. He sold the number of shares. The number of shares he sold, he sells half of the shares. Half of the shares means 360 by 2 is 120, 160. Next, initial income is nothing but 6 into 120, 320. So 320 into 6 is 1920. So thank you students, have a nice day. We'll meet you in the next class, and please click on the blue color icon button and subscribe my channel and share with your friends. Thank you students, have a nice day. Bye.